Jabal El Tariq, Love and Light. You see, I'm with Digital Public
New Amsterdam Musical Association, the objects for which the corporation is to perform, to voluntarily promote and encourage the study and production of instrumental music,
to draw together trained musicians in the Musical Association for mutual encouragement,
and to establish an essential meeting place for the instruction for social intercourse between the two.
location of the African burial ground, which we had the privilege of dealing with over this last week, from last Monday all the way through. And what that was celebrating was the fact that our ancestors' bones showed their way up while they was trying to build a new building down there in Duane.
Right.
And right up, Duane and Broadway, right? And I remember when it happened because they called for drummers to come out and drum across the street from where it happened. Because they wanted to shut down we wanted to shut it down and stop the building on top of our ancestors' bones. And so we kept drumming for a couple of weeks. And meanwhile, Reverend Daughtry and a whole bunch of other folks was out there organizing the political part so that they could stop that and then put up a type of memorial that would truly recognize our ancestors and what they had gone through. And what we continue to go through in this settler state. In this apartheid, because this country is the model for South Africa. This country is the one that the Nazis even, Hitler and his crew, they came here and studied what America was doing to us. They said, yo, this is the way we got to treat these Jews. So when we stop and think about this, and we think about what happened starting in 1492 with Cristobal Colon, pirate, pedophile, mass murderer, when we think about that, we got to remember what happened to us, because it's imperative that we remember that slaves were not brought from Africa. African people, we were defeated militarily. We suffered a series of military defeats. There's no denying that. But we were massively kidnapped and enslaved over here. There were no slaves in Africa. You won't find that word in any African language. That word, Slav, slave, deals with the feudalistic societies that were built in Europe before it was even called Europe, because the name Europe is actually a relatively new construct. Because they didn't start using Europe as a definition and even thinking of Europe as a continent until after 1492 and well up into the 1600s. It took them that long to get an idea of what else was going on around the planet. And they said, oh, Asia's a continent, Africa's a continent, and we found some new land over there that's big, and we got to have our own thing because we're superior to anybody else. That's what they were saying to themselves. And that's when they came up with the concept known as Europe. Because now, how many continents they say they are?
7.
They say Asia, they say Africa, they say North and South America, they say Antarctica, they say Australia, and what? Oh, there is no what. Why? Because Europe is the western part of Asia. Mm-hmm. There's nothing separating it except some mountains called, the Caucasus Mountains. That's like saying California is a continent because of the Rocky Mountains. It ain't working like that. So I want to deal a piece because this land that we're on now, it had many names before it was called America. It had many names. One of them was Akwesasne. How do I know this? Because there was a brother from one of the indigenous communities on WBAI one day. He was having a talk. And while he was talking, I called in. I said, excuse me, I've been wondering for a while, what is, give me a name of this land before it was called America. And he said, well, Turtle Island. I said, no. I don't want to hear no English. Give me an indigenous term that was used before it was called America. Because America Vespucci was another one of those pirates. All right? Who also documented in his journal that as he was coming over here, he saw Africans in canoes going back the other way. Because truth of the matter is, the first people on this side of this planet was us too. That's right. African people, we are the original indigenous people. Come on now. Everywhere you go on this planet, the first people you will find are African people, the oldest bones that you will find. Now, when you come up with some evidence that proves otherwise, and as the technology gets more developed, we get older. We get older. So, in this side, one of the names was Akwesasne. I said, okay, that's what he said. He said, can't be Akwesasne. I said, okay, Akwe, Akwesasne. Akwesasne. Okay, sounds good. Now translate it for me. He said, land where the drums come from. I said, ooh, land where the drums come from. Now, that tells me that African people was over here too. Because who are the master drummers on this planet? Who has the most sophisticated rhythmic concepts on this planet? African people. There's some people like in India, they have mathematically, intricate rhythms. But what did we develop? Besides intricate rhythms, we developed a concept that I call rhythmic harmony. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-part harmonies, rhythmic harmonies. Why do we call it harmony? Because they complement one another. It's not just polyrhythms. Polyrhythms, you got more than one rhythm going, but they don't necessarily complement each other. But in Africa, we have developed sophisticated systems of rhythmic harmony, where each rhythm embellishes the other rhythm. And then you have rhythmic melodies being put. You can't deal with lambada unless you got a 3-part, at least. And most African drum systems have at least 3 drums. Why? Because they represent mama, daddy, and baby.
Yeah. That's all right.
It's rare that you see one drummer playing by his or herself. And make no mistake about it, women play drums just as well as men do.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, there's a proverb that says that women gave men the drums to keep us out of trouble. But that's another story. Today, we're dealing with this land, this side of the water. And when that pirate came, he didn't even step on the continent itself. He just came on a couple of different islands. All right? But let's deal with this one here, because this is where we at. And really, when them folks, in fact, they had to change it a little bit. They tried to switch it up and say, oh, this is Italian Day. No. You can't clean this up. You can't clean this invasion up. So I'm going to start this one with a poem that I wrote a while back after I heard that brother, when he gave me that particular word, Akwesasne. And I said, okay, cool. Bakule, oh, woyam. Bakule, oh, woyam. Bakule, woya. Bakulele, woya. Bakulele, woya. Bakule, oh, woya. All we know will be told in time. It is not as though there could be no other way. This is our choice to enter the path, as did the ancestors, spirits from the land. We are them, they are we. We are them, they are we. Bakule, oh, woyam. Bakule, oh, woyam. Attacking our dreams, we awoke to a nightmare. Its kaleidoscopic effect changing our symmetrical forms by reflection. This is not a repeat knot, 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 redundant. Our beauty is based on the excellence of our proportion. We are trying to be balanced with nature, not opposed to it. Surreptitiously altered by colonialism and slavery, we sometimes show images of a neither, of a nor, carry our whole lives with us in paper bags and bated breath, choking on anticipation, stroking lines of degradation, pretending again and 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 again that it's all right as long as it don't get caught on tape. Bakule, oh, woyam. Bakule, oh, woyam. America is not the name of the land. It is a synonym, a sin of a nymphomaniac, a weak-kneed emasculation, parasitical in its perch of doom, searching for its next of kin, or anything else too slow in the imperative requirements of self-defense. No, America, is not the name of the land. It is the bitter taste of vomit-eaten, children scarred and beaten, women raped, wretched and despairing, men with hopeless not caring. Its password is shoot to kill, bomb, or maim, but never leave anything remotely the same. Bakule, oh, woyam. Bakule, oh, woyam. Akwesasne is one of the names of the land, and it breathes. Its seas wash me. Its dirt feeds all that I eat. It does not bid me beat a path of fast retreat. It helps me grow, knows what I know, speaks to me, eases my pain, answers the questions that I work to solve, spreads the seeds of life with its wind, nourishes my heart and spreads the seeds of life with its wind, replenishes my empty vessel with a tender caress, so that I may continue to feel its calm. It is not as though there could be no other way. This is its choice, the choice of the land, to enter the path as did the ancestors, spirits who come from it. You know the land wherefrom the drums come. You know the land wherefrom the drums come. You know the land wherefrom the drums come. Bakule, bakule, oh, oh, yeah. Bakule, bakule, oh, oh, yeah. Bakule, oh, yeah. Bakule, oh, yeah. Bakule, oh, yeah. Bakule, bakule, oh, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Midst of the riots and storm, nothing appeared as we endure. Burning sand, times of drought, malaria, pestilence, parasite, gout, we endure. Rain arrived too slow, crops refused to grow, hostility, conflict, confusion, forsaken, exhausted intrusions, torn from land called home, crossed violent seas chain, compelled to deny all previously known, religion, language, kin, name, plunged deep into minds reeked with death, the years and years and years of grueling pain, curdled stench of plantation breath, our very existence seemed as though in vain, but still we endure. Through trials of nature, schemings of man, and misfortune, plague, and worse, with unswerving desire and effort to stand, we confronted adversity, defied curse. Imani, faith was inside, urging forth, sent itself, using history as a guide, employing our culture as well, coming forth as if dawn was in our hands, illuminating aspirations, helping us to understand and value our vocation. Much more than mere belief, it is certainty, conviction, that the best source of relief is within our own traditions. We are sons of the sun, daughters of the moon. Oceans and rivers reflect us. The wind is our voice, the breeze our whisper. Silence, even silence respects us. It is we who decided the day is divided into what's now understood as the hour. We built the Sphinx and pyramids as links to great ancestral power. We created mountains, the canyon's abyss, the falcon, our symbol of light, soars above high in the clouds where even darkness is bright. We charted the movements of planets and stars, employed them as yearly planners, labeled beast, mighty and small, studied their every manner. We are the elephant's Blair, the lion's roar that fills the forest with wonder. We are the cascading sound of the Great Lake Falls, known as the House of Thunder. Count the sand of Sahara, the drops of the Nile, the savannas every blade of grass. Only then will we see the greatness achieved by those of Africa's past. Count the sand of Sahara, the drops of the Nile, the savannas each and every blade of grass. Only then will we see the greatness achieved by those of Africa's past. We are Vinda, Fulani, Hausa, Igbo, Wolof, Serer, Ga. We are Zulu, Manding, Ashanti Dogon, Yoruba, Maasai, Twa, Vinda, Fulani, Hausa, Igbo, Wolof, Serer, Ga. Zulu, Manding, Ashanti Dogon, Yoruba, Maasai, Twa. Nunukwa African, Nunukwa African. Todos negros en el mundo son africanos. Todos negros